So heading into September, it's now getting to my favorite time of the year. Fall is 100% my favorite season. The leaves start changing, the temperatures start coming down a little bit here in Illinois. And to me, it doesn't get much better. If your Jack Russell is anything like Luna, they also probably love to be outside. Luna loves the outdoors. She would prefer to be out there all the time if she could. Because of this, I realized that I wanted to make a video discussing outdoors versus indoors with your Jack Russell. And I'm not talking about living outside compared to living outside. I'm talking about considerations that you need to keep in mind if you're allowing your Jack Russell to really enjoy their favorite weather, the safest weather for them to be outside, and just what you need to be thinking about as a new Jack Russell owner, especially for those of you who recently adopted or you plan on adopting in the next few weeks. For me, I adopted Luna September, I believe 15 it'll be 3 years ago. So I was right in the same season. It's very tempting to let them enjoy outside all day, but you do have some considerations to keep in mind. So let's start diving into those right now. Like I said as well, it is super important to note that this entire video is not discussing this dog living outside. These dogs are still living inside. I'm talking about just the hours of the day that they're outside, how many they can be outside, and those kind of considerations. Nothing to do with sleeping outside. That is not what this video is about. So I'm assuming that a lot of you think that this isn't a very worthy topic that deserves to have an entire video made about it, but I can assure you that after you get your Jack Russell home and you've had them for a while, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You'll see that it's very difficult to distinguish between when it's time for them to come inside, what they can tolerate and what they should be doing, and how long they can be outside without being supervised. So to me, for any of you who are new Jack Russell owners, I think it's a super important conversation to have, right? What do you think, Luna? Good idea? Should we talk about this? Okay. So let's start diving into those important considerations right now, leading it off with the most obvious, which is temperatures. Mainly the heat. I would be more concerned in September in most areas with heat compared to cool temperatures, but I know we also have a lot of viewers that are from places outside of the US, so I don't really know the climates in every area of the world that we have people that view or subscribe to this channel, but in general, heat in September, this August, tail end of August, I think is more important to discuss, and why it can become difficult to understand if you're crossing any kind of safety line, allowing your Jack Russell to enjoy the outdoors too much. This is also assuming that you have kind of a backyard setup somewhat similar to mine, to where you don't have to be in control with a leash or a lead. You don't have to go outside with them because you're not in a city setting, like a city apartment setting. So they're freely outside, just having a good time. Luna loves to sunbathe. She loves to just find a spot on the back porch and lay there and soak in the sun. All right, guys, I want to step outside just real quick just to give you a little bit of a better idea of some of the things that we've already talked about in the video and that we're going to talk about here in the second half of the video about your Jack Russell being outside. Let's head on out there. So we're on the back porch now, and I do want to show you one thing, because I do have a lead and a water bowl for Graham, the big dog, but rarely used. He just doesn't do well on it like Luna does. And I specifically put Luna on her lead just to give you an example of her being out here on it. And we don't use it all the time. Certain situations, like if a lot of company's over, now you'll be able to see her on it, off of it, that kind of thing. And I'll show you that dog bed real quick too. So there's Graham's lead. I just have it kind of ran up here just to show you. And then it just goes out into the yard in case we did want to use it. But like I said, he does terrible on a lead, so it's very rare that we would. Now Luna is on her lead. Like I said, I just put her on it for you guys to see. Right here, she's got the red one on. She's panting, so she's not gonna be out here too much longer. It's about 70 degrees, and she's tied up over here, running around crazy. There's where her lead stake is at. What are you doing? Trying to kiss the camera? You were just on the camera. And here's that dog bed. She loves this thing. This dog bed is fantastic. It is that mesh cooling material. It's in the shade here for her if she wants it. She also ends up sleeping on this couch a lot, or just relaxing in the sun all the time. Sometimes she even lays on the trampoline because that's kind of cooling for her too. Then she's got 2 water bowls right here. Cold water in those. She's only probably going to be out here another 15 minutes. She's been out here about a half hour. There you go, drinking her water. And then the other things that you need to be careful of, guys, are just things like fence gaps. When they're little, something even like that gap is enough for them to want to dig and get out of here. She doesn't do it anymore, but she probably could, and that's what I mean by when they're little and need that supervision so that they don't do anything crazy, like get out of the yard. And then her favorite rabbit hunting, you know, poaching area that she does all of her, she's heading to it right now. Perfect example. It's right under this porch. There she goes. And here's what I can tell you about the hot temperatures, guys. It's really mostly common sense. If they're gonna be outside for probably more than an hour, unsupervised, and it's getting pretty hot and it's a sunny day, two things. A, you need to make sure that they have water. So you can do a lot of things to do this. You could use just a regular water bowl and it's got cold, fresh water in it for them. And they even have options now that they have refillable water sources that almost make a pretty bubbling water system, and I'll put a link in the description down below for something such as one of those bowls on Amazon. But you need that, and you also need to make sure that there's a shady spot they can go if they get hot. And with that being said, even if you provide those two things, this shouldn't be an all-day thing. Let them have fun, let them do their rabbit and squirrel chasing. I'll put a link in the description below for this video about that, just because they love to do that. They love to just explore outside. We're still talking about a few hours. They're gonna get hot. You know, water is only gonna interest them so long when it's that hot of a day. So let them enjoy it. Take some of the pressure off you on the exercise front. This is a really good way to let them get outside, get that exercise without you having to put in a ton of effort, but don't overdo it. A couple hours, get them back inside, and then if they want to go back outside later, no big deal. But especially, like I said, if it's a setup like we discussed, where you don't have to really do any of the work. On the flip side of temperatures, guys, you have cold days, and cold is completely different than hot when it comes to this dog. Jack Russells have this thin, not very thick coat of fur, and they do get cold quick. Luna, on a cold day or when there's snow outside, she'll play for a little bit, then she is back at that back door ready to come in with a little bit of shaking going on. Right? Completely different. On a day like today, it's about 78 degrees and sunny out. She would not come to that back door ready to come inside until I go get her, or basically bribe her to come back inside with a treat, right? Yes, I said treat. So on a cold day, these options are pretty limited. You're not gonna get away with really getting the exercise portion of your day out of the way during the cold months of the year. You can do things like use a doggy sweater or doggy coat. That's going to help more than you think, so you could consider that if you want them to be able to be outside comfortably for even 15 to 30 minutes. Definitely consider an option like that. It's a very good idea. They do get cold quickly, and it will extend the time that they are comfortable outside. Another consideration, if you're a new Jack Russell owner, whenever you're debating how long they can be outside unsupervised, what you need to be aware of is just your Jack Russell's age. And it really doesn't go away. For me, particularly with Luna, it took about 2 years before it was like, okay, she can be outside unsupervised for a decent amount of time. I still probably wouldn't trust her being outside without some kind of lead for more than hour and a half. But when they're younger, I would not even push it that long. They will dig, they will chase the squirrels, they will chase the rabbits. They will probably find a way to get out of the yard at some point, which leads into tons of other dangers, like wandering into traffic. If they're not microchipped, like I mentioned in a video a couple weeks back, you might not find them or get them back. So when they're young, realize that they have an investigative nature. They like to explore, they like to hunt. So don't think that they're not going to do that just because you think your yard is safe. You really need to make sure that if you want to fully take advantage of your yard and the situation, that you have the yard proofed, you trust them, they're comfortable, and the temperatures permit. That is a good way to summarize where we're at in this video so far. And while we are at a good break point in this video, guys, Luna and I would love if you would give us, if I can even reach up with her holding my arm hostage here, a thumbs up on this video. It helps us out a ton when you do that. Boop that thumbs up. Subscribe if you enjoy the channel so far, these kind of videos, if you would like to. Otherwise, let's keep pushing on. All right, guys, another one of the considerations I want to talk about if you want your dog to spend a lot of time outside is the other things you can look into purchasing. And I'm not saying to go out and spend a lot of money, but one of the things I would definitely consider purchasing if I was in your situation, and I have one. I should have brought that inside for this video, but they make these mesh, basically dog beds. It's almost like a elevated platform. It's meant to keep them cool. What are you doing? It's meant to keep them cool while they're laying down out in the heat. Luna uses her bed all the time. It's basically a dog cooling bed. I think they're like 20, 25 bucks. They're not super expensive, but that is a great idea if you want to extend kind of the amount of time that they can be outside. Again, you still need the water, you still need some shade, but the more things that you consider purchasing or having at your dog's disposal and your disposal, the more you can take advantage of A, the weather, B, this dog's ability to be happy, kind of relaxing and being on their own, and C, you're knocking out that huge exercise demand that this dog has. Remember, in a lot of the videos, guys, I always talk about 30 to 60 to even 60 minutes plus per day. If you can get that in your yard with the correct tools and you have these things purchased, your life is going to be so much easier with the Jack Russell. Yes, they're still a hyper dog. Yes, they're still going to challenge you in other ways, but just getting some help like that with a few of the things makes a huge difference. Another item would be a lead. If you have trust with 15 feet of the yard, but not the other 100, use a lead. As long as it has enough room that they're not getting tangled up and they can still explore and have a good time out there, I guarantee they'll still enjoy it. Luna would sit on a lead happily. As long as Graham's not out there, then she really gets mad about that. Because he's free. We don't lead, he'll just break the lead out of the ground because he's a tank. If she's out there and it's kind of her domain, her kingdom at that time, she has no problem with the lead. She will sit on it, she'll soak up the sun and have a good time. With that being said, guys, since you guys are from all different areas of the world, I would love to know, what you use outside. I've seen people that have sheds with air conditioner units in them, heaters. I've seen all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of cool things that people do. I would love to hear your stories, your recommendations. I know Luna would love to hear it too. We love when you guys comment. So be sure to share those below so we can help everybody on this channel out. Again, guys, give us the thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe if you would prefer to. Never forget to visit terrierowner.com, and don't forget that we have new videos every Sunday at 11 a.m. We actually have some new series coming out. We have the new Luna vlog, and we also have a new one that I won't even mention yet. I'll just give you the teaser that we have a third one now coming out in about the next 8 weeks, which will have its own day dedicated for it. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Tune in for all that. Share us on social media. Help us grow to those 10,000 subscribers. Otherwise, guys, we will see you in the next video. We appreciate you. Enjoy the fall. It's our favorite season as well. We're looking forward to it, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.